on your own terms, you don't really want to mess with it. That's the best. Because
Andrew, I got your recording. It says I'm probably not
I heard that. Right. This house today, I saw the only downfall is just the limited. And anybody that knows it, right? I mean, if it's selling older land, so it needed to be replaced, and which could be a nice chunk of change, especially in that. You know, so that was the thing. Yeah. Well, some of them are good though. I mean, oh yeah. I know you can't. I hate this.
When she signed it, after you signed it,
How are you?
Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have everybody log on to Command?
How do you do that?
So log on to KW Command. You can just go to Google and you can just type in KW Command. And it'll be the link that says console.command.kw. And you'll put in your KW login.
We go to console login, right? Labs.
Yes.
Welcome to Keller Cloud.
Yes. So you'll just put in your KW login there. Anybody else need help logging in?
Yeah. We're good.
You good, Stephanie?
So Command you cannot access from our intranet in any form or fashion.
I'm not certain. I bookmark it so that I can just quickly log in.
Okay.
So I don't have to go through anything else. I just go straight to it.
I gotcha.
Does anyone else need help? You good? Okay. All right. So a little bit about today's class. The two main things I want to talk about with everyone is opportunities as well as local insights. You can think of opportunities as your sales pipeline tool. This will help you track your clients, what stage they're in, and what you need to be doing during that time, right? The next one is local insights. The idea of local insights is basically branding yourself as the local expert. With local insights, you're basically marking locations, businesses, places of interest. And so in the near future, when your clients update their KW app, they're going to see your recommendations. So for example, if your buyer's in the area, they're looking at houses on the app, they're going to see Beth Boswell recommends this restaurant, or she recommends this auto repair place, or she recommends this park to frequent. And so your clients will be able to see that and brand you as a local expert, right? How often is it that our clients need a local referral for something that they need? So the cool thing I look at it is it works threefold. The more local insights you have, when agents look for an agent in Atlanta to refer to, you're going to be ranked higher if you have the most local insights. So that'll increase your ability to receive referrals. The second thing is obviously giving your client the confidence that you're familiar with the area and you know the area. The third being This is an ability for you to lead generate around it by knocking on businesses' doors and saying, hey, I'm your local realtor. My clients look to me to make recommendations. Are you a business that's looking for more opportunities, and can I recommend you? And now you have a connection with someone that you may not even know, and you could be their local realtor. So I think it's very powerful in that perspective that you can get referrals from other agents, you can get business through local businesses, and also you become your local expert for your buyer and client. Okay?
How do I get my contacts in here?
So contacts. So we'll start with that. I did preface that the first time we taught the class. So in the top left-hand corner, you'll see contacts. Right? And so we'll go ahead and click on contacts.
Okay.
And in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see add contact.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and click that button.
Oh no, do I have to do them one by one?
If your database isn't already saved in eEdge,
It is.
okay, then it will automatically transfer eventually. Now, if you want to speed up the process because they haven't transferred for everybody, there's actually a way to import, which is right beside add contact. And you can actually download, if you see in the top left corner, it says download the pre-made CSV. If you download that CSV and you transfer all the information over, so you make sure that all the columns line up on how they have it preset, you can then import it and it'll take your whole database into it. Okay?
But they're in the process of doing it for us. Is that
If it's in eEdge. If it's not in eEdge, they're not going to transfer.
How do you know what the time frame is?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
So this process has been a learning curve in the sense that they've been doing a lot of updates and upgrades, and they've been working in different areas of the system. So the last time I taught this class, there was areas in the system that weren't available that they recently just opened up in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just start with an example of just adding someone individually. I'm just gonna type my name. I'm gonna add my email address, my phone number, and then my preferred method of contact is by phone, right? This is a good way to keep track of how your clients like to be communicated to. You may have your millennials that like to be text. You may have your older folk that they want you to actually call them on the phone. That way, anytime you have someone on your team go into your database, they know how your clients like to be communicated to. Okay. And then it asks you, what stage are they? Is it a captured, which is, you might have gotten their name and their contact? Is it a connected, where you may have already met with them in person? Or are they qualified? Have you already set the appointment and they're ready to start the process? That way you can figure out what stage they're in. You can actually sort them. If you look in the background right here, you'll see where it says stage. You'll know everyone in your database where they are in the process. So let's say you have a bunch of captured people that you want to lead generate to. You can sort them by, oh, these are my captured leads that I need to be touching, right? So I'm going to say qualified. You can also do lead source. Where did they come from? And then you have system tags and custom tags. There's a way to log into the system preferences to change these tags. That way, if you want to diversify their categories, if you want to say, okay, I met them through one of my hobbies. So everyone that I met through the hobbies, I can put them as that tag. That way, when you go to search in your database, you can search based on that tag. And then it has a description section. You can just write anything about them that you'd like to keep note. Their address, date of birth, and then the relationships tab. The cool thing about the relationships tab is when you have multiple people in your database, let's say you have a father and son in your database, you can actually connect the two. So that way when you're in the father's contact, you'll see their son, and you can click on their link to go to the son's profile, or vice versa. And this is also a good way for married couples, if you want to tag two people that are married together, and you want that system linked so that anytime you or someone on your team goes into the system, they know, okay, so-and-so is married to this person. And that's how we'll know that they're together, right? You can add their social media platforms. Andy and Leslie Peters just came about a week ago to teach the 36 Touch program. One of the things that's really helped Leslie is every morning before she starts making her contacts, she goes on Facebook and looks at their pages to see what's changed in their life that she can start a conversation about when she calls. And so by having it there, it will make it easier for you to just click the link, go to their social media profile, get a quick recap, and that way you have more of a conversation when you call them. So I'm going to go ahead and create. Oh, actually, sorry, I already created that one. Let me do a different one. So now I have the contact created. And so we're going to start with opportunities. This is your pipeline tool. Now, the really cool thing about this pipeline tool is if you're good about tracking your numbers. Let's say you know that anytime you go on an appointment, there's a 50% chance you're going to get the client. Every time you get that client under contract, there's a 75% chance they're going to make it a closing. You can custom enter these statistics in there, and each time you put a client in and it has their stage that they're in, you'll have a probable income, which is based on your statistics, on your conversion rate, how likely and how much you're going to earn for the year. And then your potential income, which is if you were to bat 100 average, what are you going to earn based on this possible income, right? And so we have different stages that they're in. You have the cultivate stage for the buyers, the appointment stage, active, under contract, and then closed. Same thing for listings. You're going to have the similar timeline. And for me, you can see like on my appointments, there's volume of 510,000. Out of my closed year to date, I have 579,000 in volume for closings. When we scroll down to my buyers, I have 0 in cultivate because I don't know what price range they're in, but I have 2 people in there. 3 people in appointment status that are worth 750. Active, I have 2.07 million actively looking, 1.56 million currently under contract, 1.19 million already closed. And it already has my probable and potential income. So that keeps me aware of where my numbers are from a transaction perspective as well as income perspective. Now the cool thing is I can look at this from a snapshot to know where I need to be focusing my energy. If I have 8 people active, I can just literally click on the 8 people and say, all right, who do I need to find a house for? Right now we have these buyers in the search category and these buyers that I'm actually actively showing right now. And once we start writing an offer, they then get moved to the negotiations phase. So as you're doing more business, it really helps you track where are you in the process for each client and who do you need to be following up with. So you can set it up so that, let's say they're in the financing stage or appraisal stage. You can go to the appraisals tab and be able to say, all right, these are all the buyers that are getting ready to order their appraisal that I need to be keeping tabs on. That way things aren't falling through the cracks. You know all your clients that are in their current appraisal phase, right? And so to kind of take a step back to put them in this position, in the top right corner, you're going to do create an opportunity. The contact does have to already be in your database, and that way when you go to contact, you can just start typing in their name. And if they have a spouse or someone that's co-borrower, you can tag them as a co-buyer. And same thing, their contact does have to be in the database. From here you have time frame. So let's say this buyer in particular, they're about 3 months out. So you know when you're looking at it, what time frame they're going to be in, right? And then also their budget, what price range are they buying in, and then what phase they're in, whether it be cultivate, active, or appointment. So if they're in cultivate, you have 3 options. You're either watching them, nurturing them, or they're a hot client that you really need to get in front of and set that appointment. Once you get to appointment, you have scheduling, scheduled, and contract signed. So if you have a hot client, your goal is to get them to the scheduling phase. You want to get them on the calendar, you want to get that appointment set with them to meet with them, right? And then once you've scheduled it, you're going to move them to the scheduled phase so that you know, hey, we have upcoming appointments. And then once you've met with them and they've signed the contract, you can then select the contract sign stage, which then from there, once they go active, when they're ready to start the process, you can then move them to the active phase. Does that make sense?
So you have to move them to the active phase. It's not just the fact that you've written a contract and it's been accepted, it doesn't automatically move to the active.
Correct. You have to proactively track your pipeline pool. So to give you an idea, I'm going to go to the under contract tab to kind of show you. Now that I'm in the under contract tab, this tells me where all my buyers are in this current process. I have one buyer that's currently doing inspections. I have another buyer that is doing their appraisal right now. And then I have another buyer that's currently finishing up their financing. We've already done their inspections. We've already done their appraisal. Now we're moving on to getting that clear to close. So to easily look at a snapshot on where your clients are in the process is a powerful tool, right? I mean, how else is everyone else tracking where their clients are in the process right now?
Whiteboard.
A whiteboard, right? And so on your whiteboard, when you're out on an appointment or you're out in the field, do you get to see it? No. So this will allow, you'll be able to use your phone to be able to track, hey, where are all my clients in the process? Who do I need to be spending time with? Who do I need to be scheduling appointments for? Who do I need to be scheduling inspections for? It's really going to make it seamless for your business so that things aren't falling through the cracks. Because let's be honest, when you're doing over 30 transactions a year, it gets a little tedious when each buyer or each seller has different timelines that they have to follow. And this is going to be the best way to track them. It's the same on the listing side. You can list what part of the process they're in. Is the buyers doing their inspections right now? Have they done their appraisal? Or are they doing their financing? And you're going to be able to go to this, in a sense, whiteboard to be able to say, where are all our clients, right? And also statistically, how likely are we to close them and what is our probable income? Because isn't it great to know what you're likely going to earn for the year or for the amount of clients that you currently have? If you have a certain goal for the first quarter or second quarter, that's a good way to track, hey, am I on pace to actually hit my goals based on my pipeline, right? Versus before, you kind of just guess. You saw a bunch of names that you were working with, but what was the probability that all of them were going to close, Because you might realize that, hey, I actually need more clients because based on my statistics of getting them to closing, this isn't enough to get me there, right? So I think it's very versatile in multiple ways in a sense of tracking your clients and staying on top of it, as well as tracking your income. And there's some benefits to that. Now, they are still working out some kinks on this. I know the last time, the listings didn't really work at all. This time, it's actually showing up, and it's actually showing the potential income for it. If you scroll all the way down, it also shows you your activities for the months. Now, obviously, I just started using it, so you're not going to see anything for the previous year. However, you'll be able to watch your trends. Are you a seasonal agent? Is there a time period that you're actually more focused than others? It's going to show based on the numbers. Also, it will show you your ratios. What percentage are your clients' listings and what percentage are they buyers? And what percentage are they leases? So that way, if your goal is to increase your ratio for listings versus buyers, this will help you navigate and understand how close am I getting to that goal. So any additional questions about the sales pipeline tool? Does that make sense to everyone?
I love it.
Awesome.
Do you think they somehow can talk to dot loop already?
So dot loop's an interesting story. We do have a contract with them for an extended amount of time, and Gary's decided that we are going to honor that contract. But ultimately, it's going to phase out to where you're doing everything through the system. So right now, when you look at, let me see if it'll show. So right now, when you click your client's detail, when you're on the buyer opportunity, you'll see in one of the middle sections, it says offers. And so it will say right here, add new offer. So in the future, all your offer is going to be coming through this pipeline tool, so it's going to be connected in that sense. Right now, when I'm doing it, it's taking me to dot loop and showing me what's going on in dot loop. So in a sense, it is connected, but not completely interface like it is expected to be in the future. Okay. Any more questions on opportunities before we move on to local insights? Good. All right, so if you go on the left side, you'll see a map with a drop pin on it, and it'll say local insights. You can just click that. So this kind of shows you the Brookhaven area right now. You'll see all these drop pins, and it looks like Kelly Marsh has been doing a great job of putting all these drop pins. I personally, if you click the top bar where it says My Insights, it will only show what I've drop pinned, which is what your clients are going to see if they download your app. So I've done all these drop pins. And to start out, you know, my age range, we tend to like to take pictures of our food and talk about food. And so what I've done is I've actually tagged all the food places I like to frequent. And so for each one of the places that I go to, I'll write a note that basically says, this is what I like to order when I'm there. And the idea behind that is to basically recommend restaurants to people and have them have at least a choice that I recommend. And that kind of gives them an idea, okay, well, if I live in this area, where am I going to eat, right? Which is a very popular thing in my age range to know and be familiar with. And so that's what I've done personally. You can go in there and then start adding other types of businesses, right? Where's your preferred dry cleaners? Where's your preferred auto mechanic? You know, where do you go to the gym? Where do you go for the park, right? You can start adding those in. Yes, sir?
Are those reviews only showing up in the app? Because it seems like you can't click on it on the...
Yeah, so if I were to click on it, let's say I clicked on this one here. So that one will pull up Nam Phuong number 2. What I like to get, it's a Vietnamese place. I like to get the shaken beef plate. If you're in a group, do the family dinner. All right, so I literally just put a small little bit in there. That way if they click on it, they know what I recommend and what I eat there.
You have to, because I can't get any of it to where are you clicking on the...
Yeah, if you click on the tab, it's going to pull it up on the right side so that you can view it. Showing up?
Yeah, so
And it also could be for you guys is I'm actually going to create a new insight.
Everything's a little.
That way you guys can follow the steps.
Getting ready to close.
And I'm going to let you catch up. So let me know whenever you're logged in on Google Chrome. So in the top right hand corner, you're going to use Create New Insight. This box is going to open up. It's going to have two options. Is it a place or is it an area? And so you can do a place. And let's see, we have what? Publix right here. So we'll say 804 Town Boulevard. And I'm going to call it Publix. It's a grocery store. So it's that easy to create a new insight. I literally selected place. I typed in the location, 804 Town Boulevard. I named it as Publix. In the category, I put it as grocery, as a grocery store. And then in the details, I just put Publix subs are the best. And once that's done, I can do Save Insight. And now anytime someone's looking for a grocery store, they can actually click the tab for the grocery store and it will pull up where the grocery stores are. That way you don't have to see all these dots on the screen. You're only going to see the dots that are for the tab that you picked, right? Or if you only want to see restaurants, you would just click the restaurant link for when you're filtering. So any questions about the insights? Were you able to figure it out?
Yeah, it seems now if you click on it through Chrome, then
It goes to it.
pull up a picture or whatever they might have on it.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks.
And then were you able to follow the how to create a new one?
Yeah, just click Create New Insight.
And then conclude. All right, so that's pretty much both of the usable platforms right now that I'm seeing. Another class that I'm planning on teaching later is going to be the email campaigns. It's going to be connected to MailChimp, so it's important that you create a MailChimp account beforehand, and then we'll go over how to connect it into the system so that when you're setting up your database, you can then put them on a campaign, 36 touch or whatever the case may be that your goals are. And it will be sent through MailChimp. I believe MailChimp can accommodate, I want to say 1,000 contacts before you have to start paying. And so, for many of us, 1,000 will be sufficient. If your contact database is larger than that, then there will be a cost involved for MailChimp. So any questions on how to use opportunities or how it benefits your business, anything like that? Yes.
I do have a question sort of from the administrative side, keeping track of your we have somebody who's under contract now, so they're in that opportunities right there, so we've been able to put in, when we expect to close, what the contract date was. Is this going to connect with the calendars part of it when it comes, because are we going to be able to put in things like the appraisal date, contingency dates, and financing and contingency dates, that kind of stuff, due diligence?
Yeah, as far as functionality and that specific, I'm not certain on what they're doing. They haven't released the calendars yet. That's going to be rolled out later. And that's the idea, though. The idea is that everything in the system is going to communicate with each other. Another thing, when you're looking at the contacts, or even in the opportunities tab, you can leave notes for each client. That way, if you or Stephanie logs in, you can see what last happened, right?
Right.
You can say, hey, called them on this date, this is our conversation, and then
Right.
she logs in, so she knows where she can pick up last, or vice versa. You can know where her last conversation went.
Right.
And then it will be saved into the contact space.
So for now, just putting notes like that, appraisal scheduled, on such and such a date.
Right.
Inspection scheduled on such and such a date, putting all that in the notes. We'll just.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, that's one of the things you could do for now if you're wanting to utilize it full on. I haven't quite transitioned everything into there yet, just because it's not quite there yet. However, I am putting it in there because as features get added, I want all that information in there. So at the end of the year, I can literally do a report on myself on how many opportunities did I have, how many people actually signed, how many people actually went under contract, and what are the time frames that it took to do that. That way I better understand my numbers from the perspective of, you know, it takes me 60 days from when I sign an agreement with a buyer that they actually get closed, right? Or, you know, statistically that I'm going to get 85% of the buyers that's not, you know, that meet with me to sign a contract to actually hire us.
Right.
And so that's been kind of an important part, and also just understanding, you know, where is your business coming from and how much percentage do you do in buyers versus listings, and where your strengths are, because it's going to show you where your strengths are. You know.
Yeah.
Any additional questions?
So this is totally off the
Yeah.
opportunities question, but this is a very basic Facebook question. Where do you go on Facebook to find out what someone's Facebook profile ID is? Because it's asking for that when you enter a contact.
Yeah. So I'll log on to Facebook real quick. So I'm going to look up JC's account. Okay, so you'll look up the person. You'll click on their page. Okay. Now, if you look at the very top section, that's going to be her handle. So you can literally just take that. Oops. You can take that, copy and paste it into the Facebook contact
Okay.
From the address bar? Is that what-
from the address bar. Okay.
The address bar, so up here.
So, you know, for JC's, it's facebook.com/jc.hellotin.com. So if I just copy paste that in there, once it's saved, you literally just click it and it'll take you straight there. So what do you guys kind of think of opportunities? You guys think you guys would actually use it?
I like it.
Well, and then what about insights?
Oh yeah, I love that.
No. And so what would you think would make either of these better? And the only reason why I ask is, you know, everyone has a different perspective, and it's always nice to hear so that we can present it to KW and say, hey, you know, what are the chances that we can get this feature added? Right? For example, you had mentioned, you know, are they going to interface with calendar?
Right.
You know, so that we can track the dates for contingencies ending. So I'll definitely, you know, mention that when we send our emails out,
Yeah.
to figure out, you know, what is coming and what is possible.
Yeah. Because once you get into the contracts and you're also juggling people who aren't there yet.
Right.
But it's nice that if it could just show up on your calendar that you've input these dates, and you'll know right where you stand on all your stuff.
Right. Yeah. Because you could put them in that cultivate category where they're people that you're constantly following up with.
Right.
Because it does get challenging when you're working a lot of leads that are cold. It's hard to remember that, oh, I need to call this person again.
Right.
You know, so I definitely think that having that cultivate tab is very critical, and it's good to see it from start to finish, right? Cultivate to close, you know, where are my pipeline, you know, in the process.
I've got mine in 2 or 3 different places now, my phone, and then on a pipeline list on my computer, and then another, you know, whiteboard with prospects, and so.
Yeah, I'm similar. You know, for us, we do, so this is actually mine. So I've been tracking my numbers this way. On the left side, it's basically who brought in the lead, A or J, either me or JC. And then what kind of person are they? Are they a buyer or listing? Their names, the addresses, the price range, commissions for each, and then I'm able to say I've done 8 transactions year to date. I've closed 2.4 million. My closed GCI year to date is 73,000. I have currently pending $1.4 million, which is worth 24,770, and then my active income. Now, based on that, what is my potential GCI just on the pipeline that I have right now, being at 79,656 plus the closed already. So that kind of gives me a frame of thought where I'm at. And then we have different tabs. So on the bottom, like I have one that's called Wealth Conversations. These are, people that I'm following up with, when am I talking to them? And then people that I have to add to call. And then what is our goals for the year? And what that looks like, and how we have to hit certain numbers to get there. So for example, it says if I go on 61 listing appointments this year, that means I need 43 listing agreements, 30 of them will go under contract, which then will result in 24 sold. So I've been tracking just on the Excel sheet, and it's useful. However, it would be nice to transition into opportunities where it's not only better looking and also condensed information instead of me having to switch through all these different tabs. All right, well, if there isn't any other questions, then that's it for today's class.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
My
That's
pleasure.
awesome.
So I just did what you did on Kelly and entering Publix as a local insight too. Do you add your insights from your phone most of the time? Is that what you're doing?
I've been doing it on the computer.